All right. So, today I'm going to talk about, you know, Joe Rogan, about how he's a fucking vampire, which is fucking weird. And nobody ever really talks about it. Nobody really discusses that he's a vampire. And I say that's gotta end now. We're going to discuss Joe Rogan being a vampire. Let's begin. So, in his first podcast, he said that he was a quote-unquote they slash them slash vamp slash vampire. And even then, in his first podcast, besides from what he goes by, he had fangs, right? And you might be like, well, where's his fangs now if he had them in the first podcast? And well, that's really simple. He, got a transplant of normal teeth, right? Like dentures. And, well, it doesn't sound that simple, right? You think anybody can just get new teeth, right? Like dentures. Well, right here it says, I forgot where, but, it's where he lives. You cannot get dentures without your husband's permission. And so, that's why in the first podcast, he was really eager to start it, right? But he didn't have normal teeth, right? He had vampire teeth. And then it took months on months of begging his husband in order to get, dentures, so he didn't have fucking vampire teeth. And even then, a quote from his first ever podcast was, and I quote, I'm a vampire, I'm from the Bronx, or I'm from O Block. Gang, gang, I side with the Bloods. And not only do I side with them, I roll with them. I've rolled with them ever since I was 15. I was just but a boy, and I thought they were pretty cool. And me and my gang are going to slide on your gang. Death to the Crips. And that was in quotation marks, right? Don't know what he's got against the Bloods, or not Bloods, Crips. Don't know what he's got against them, right? But he sure as shit doesn't like the Crips, So not only is he a vampire, he's a gang member who has a podcast. And I just think that's fucking bizarre that anybody would let him get away with that, right? I don't think anybody should get away with that, right? I think he should be brought to justice for what he's done. And not only that, let's skip forward like 10 minutes, right? In his podcast. And here's another quote. I've killed 23 people by sucking their blood. I'm not a vampire, I'm just kinky. And number one, this doesn't make fucking sense. How are you not a vampire sucking people's blood? Number two, how the fuck is that kinky? Nobody's into that shit. Weird ass. Maybe you, because you're a fucking vampire. But that's besides the point, right? Anyways. Now that that quote's over with, that was all in quotation marks. I'm not a vampire, but he is, right? So, he also, as of late, did a collab with Queso, right? It was kind of like how they met EDP down the fucking street, right? He was doing an interview with Queso, and he said to Queso, and I quote, "You're a big fella. How much blood you got? You look like a refrigerator. You sure as shit are built like one, but can I snack on that blood?" That didn't make any fucking sense, but those are his words precisely. I wouldn't lie to you. That's all the time we got for today, folks. See you around.